Welcome to Field Questions. This is where I enter the field, this common, shared, resonant space that even though we have our individual personal life, somehow these common threads are being lived. I don't want to say resolved, but are being actually untangled, worked through very much in a collective space, but in our own way. So instead of me giving insight, I'm allowing questions to arise so that we can make that common thread very personal and very unique to us. So I do use cards. Again, the cards, they're not my dominant focus, but I do like them. They sort of map these concepts and they help me articulate these. So I entered a space, and what I found was people looking at things, understanding them, that clarity is with them, yet there is a little bit of hesitation to take the action. And I got the 5 of Wands. And this is not like a early 5. It's not like a 5.0, not even a 5.5. It's like a 5.75, if that makes sense. Where it's not really talking about conflict or competition, but even in how this is portrayed here, that it's creating this funnel, this triangle into one clear pathway forward. And so I'm getting how, if before clarity was something that we chased, right? Where it was like, if I just had clarity, I would know what to do about this situation. I would know how to move, what decision to make. But I think we came a long way to understand that clarity and us taking the move at a physical level are light years apart. Just because you know something and you see something crystal clear doesn't mean you have capacity to move from that clarity. So with this, in this space, I almost feel like the clarity has been broken down in enough finite chunks where our nervous system can take that little piece, that baby step, and say, I can be with this, I can move from this space only, and I'm okay with that. So that's where it's like you're still maybe in that, I'm going to call it uncomfortableness, because, you know, I'm being really nice. But now I feel like there is a tolerance. You've built resilience in that space where it's like, it's still there, but it's not crippling me. It's not debalancing me. That conflict and I can coexist, and I don't lose myself in it. So the question that rose from that for me was, I finally see what needs to change, but where or why am I struggling to actually move? I finally see what needs to change, but why am I struggling to actually move? And there was another one that came up with that. If I know what needs to happen, why does it still feel so difficult to begin? Right? And that question, generically speaking, there's 500 reasons. Find yours, right? Sit with that. And again, these questions, this practice is about you creating time with yourself. Not so much about the questions. The questions are the mechanism. They're important. But they're not as important as the space that they create for you to be with you. Second question that came up was around the 10 of Swords. It was really interesting because it's very much continuing the 5 of Wands. That to me talks about the exhaustion that is fizzling out. It's talking about how we can sit in review of what has happened, how it happened, without arguing with it, without wishing it would be different, without creating different potentials. Yeah, so it talks, and I was feeling this increase in the nervous system capacity for us to accept, right? That acceptance is really integrating in the body. So the question that came up was not that I'm not constantly surviving. How do I make sense of everything that happened without getting pulled back in it? Right? So it's about how do I look back? Because look at this person. She's standing at this hill and just really looking over what I imagine the city that once was her drive, her motivation, her inspiration, her everything. And now that is just gone. It just doesn't do, even though it doesn't seem to have changed, maybe, or even if it looks destroyed, everything is different. So to me, it's becoming, how do I look back without going back? And to me, this card is more about feeling in that space, not necessarily articulating an answer. If that answer comes in that articulation, sure, write it down, experience that articulation. But it's just stabilizing the nervous system capacity of acceptance of what was and no longer is. And the third was the 10 of Cups. How beautiful. And this 10 of Cups, the feeling that I got was gratitude. And it's been coming up every meditation now. Again, I've had this before, but it ends in this, oh my God, thank you so much. And I just realized, who am I thanking, right? Like, why do I end these in thank yous now? But it's that gratitude, right? Of that completion. It's, to me, it felt like there is recognition of the intelligence of how things work. And it's not even so much about things will work out for the highest good in the end. It's not that type of hope. It's gratitude that things continue. There is continuation, even though things come to the end, it doesn't mean that it's the end of my story, right? Or it's the end. There's this chance to start over, and this gratitude is like, oh wow, the beauty of that continuation. It continued because my nervous system, my whole system came to completion within that one thing, but that story continues in a different way, and what ended is not what I thought was the end. And there's this gratitude combined with the recognition of the wisdom of that intelligence. It kind of reminds me of the star card and how hope has transformed from something that's outside of us. I wish, I desire, I hope, something that we have little involvement into, that willpower and willingness to now saying, I'm seeing this clearer now, and I'm willing to start again differently, not from defeat. And that ties in with that Five of Wands. I mean, the sequence of these cards, and I get it, it's not the cards, but there's always this sequence that's just blowing my mind. So the question with the Ten of Cups was, how do I trust life again after everything that's happened? But don't ask that question from that despair, right? Like, ask it literally in how? How do I trust, or maybe where do I trust life again from that acceptance? Because what if this isn't the end of my story? And if these questions didn't resonate with you exactly, see, before I would say, I invite you to take this practice and make it your own. And now I want to say, I urge you, right? Because it's that energy of softness. That's kind of last year or whenever. This type of practice of sitting with the nervous system is not it's just what needs to be done in this period. And movement has its own place, right? Walking, yoga, but we're not at that point where we can feel ourselves into coherence within movement. That takes way next level of mastery. The stillness of how we think, the innateness, the what arises within us still comes from being still. So if we journal, maybe the movement of the hand or the typing is the maximum amount of movement we can do while we're really in that coherent space. Because that's what we're learning, right? We're learning to move from coherence. And these type of practices is what's showing up now for us to participate with us. So sit with yourself, take this practice, and make it such where you can come into a frequency, right? If it's once a week, if it's every day, whatever it might be, or anything in between. But I urge you to really sit with that. And if you want to go deeper into the next level of these questions, message me. I will email you a worksheet for you to just sit with this and increase that level of presence within yourself in disguise of questions. Have a beautiful week, and I'll see you next time.